hit record and hit this.
This is the time and this is the place, and this is FC3's Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky. And since anything can be geeky, if you love it enough, you never know what you're going to get. This is your host, IMC. This week we'll be talking about the recent reimagining of a classic kid series, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Back in the 90s, Melissa Joan Hart led the title on Paramount Network, but now it's Kiernan Shipka's turn on Netflix, leading the venerable title from the long-heralded Archie Comics universe. Are there similarities? Differences? Is one better than the other? Catch up with us after the first break when we take some time to chat about the magic. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How we doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
It was the first time I wrote a script in ages. That was actually all me right there. I'm very proud of myself.
Yay.
I'm going to pat myself on the shoulder.
Give him a solid golf clap.
I will actually acknowledge the old Harrison Ford line when he said to George Lucas, "You can write this crap, I just can't say it." I was tripping. I should have read this out to myself a couple of times before I actually
it wasn't
finished
too bad.
It wasn't too bad, but
That
I was
was
tripping
actually
up a
really
little
good.
bit. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I
This is the
appreciate
time.
that.
This is the place that you should be able to say
that.
that.
I say that in
Yeah.
my head, but the rest
Yeah.
of it was kind of like a little clunky, I think. But we'll work on that.
I love the name Kiernan
Kiernan Shipka.
Shipka.
It's kind of a cool name, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And you know, I wonder what her nationality is. I mean, she's a cute little white girl, but I get that. But is she like Eastern European or something like that?
My guess would probably be like Norse or like
Norse.
Norse.
like Scandinavian.
Shipka and
Shipka.
I'm just gonna go
I
with
don't know.
Chris's answer.
what's
Eastern
that?
European.
Eastern European.
Just stay over there.
Cute little white girl. So Billy,
Yes, sir.
how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I bumped my head yesterday. So
I
if I'm-
heard.
Yeah, it hurt a lot.
You got
It
a big
still
old
hurts
lump
a
back
little.
there?
Not too big.
Okay.
But it hurt a lot. And actually, now my tailbone hurts more than my head.
That's an improvement. We'll take that as a win.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy, did you
Yes.
hurt yourself
Yes.
when you fell from heaven?
Oh boy.
Just making up for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's my leftist lover's lane today. There is definitely something going on over there. There's a big bromance going on happening right now.
Love you, Ray.
Listen, me and Tony
let
haven't seen
them
each other
move down.
forever.
Yeah, can you guys get to the
Jesus.
other end of the? No, I'm kidding. But I'm glad you're okay and on the mend there, Bill.
Yeah, I'm fine.
It's just it's the ice. It's the ice. It's killing everybody out there.
Yeah, there was a thin cover of snow over a sheet of ice.
Oof.
My feet
God.
went up in the air twice.
Oh,
in
no.
a matter of about a minute and a half.
Well, it was about 20 years ago this month is when I broke my ankle slipping on ice.
Oof.
So it's that.
In fact, a coworker of mine, Bob Matthews, does the sports talk show on the Hall at Wham. He broke his ankle very, very badly a couple weeks ago, right outside this building.
Oh, no.
So if this gets renamed the Bob Matthews Building anytime in the near future,
You'll know why.
that's why.
How many years was it for you, Chris?
20.
20? You were 18?
Oh yeah, I wish.
Yes, he was.
I wish I was.
Now-
I was 29 when it happened. Well, actually, I was 28 because I turned 20. My birthday's in
I was trying to
September.
make you feel
Well,
better.
Thank you.
Shipka.
You tried. You failed, but it's okay.
The name
Shipka.
Shipka may refer to a town in Bulgaria,
Eastern European.
Okay.
Look at me. I'm awesome.
or an American actress.
Or an American actress. Okay.
Actually, the name Kiernan, doesn't that sound
Kiernan,
Irish?
it's
It does
Irish.
sound a little
Now,
Irish.
she's lives in Chicago. Born to John Young Shipka and his wife Erin Ann, one-time queen of Chicago's St. Patrick's Day Parade. I want to say Irish.
There's
Yeah.
the Irish half.
There's the
I'd say
Irish half.
she's Irish Bulgarian. Yeah. Anyway.
So
Well, we're going to talk more about her in a little bit. But
Yes.
first things I'm going to do is I want to make we chatted with Billy.
Yep.
And he got a bump on the head and he's feeling better. You know that Tanya's in the studio. You can hear the bromance going on over here with Ray and Tony.
They
We got a
haven't
good
been in
panel
why-
in the
they haven't
house
been in
today. We got a good panel
haven't
now.
been
Some of the
here.
old
It's
It's been
favorites
a
are here.
while
Time.
since me and Ray were like together on set.
Yeah, that's
So-
true.
We've got friends, we got family, we got old
Countryman.
favorites, and we've got Tony.
Yeah.
and
Everybody's
Ray.
favorite person to fire.
There you go. I think I
Actually,
actually
no,
fired
that's-
Tony twice before we started recording
Yeah,
today.
that's true.
And you rehired him because
And I-
he got you Staples.
Yes, because he got me
Yes.
Staples. That's all there is to it. Not the store.
Actually,
but,
he
you know.
fires me a lot
But
more now.
this one
Really?
didn't get Staples.
Really?
He's
That's
fired
awesome.
again.
Oh, Tony, can you get and work on that one since
Yeah,
you're the
sure.
staple master over there? Anything new going on? Ray, you've got something going on. You've been working on something. You tell me a little bit more about the publishing that's been going on for you.
I write for THS.com.
THS.com.
That hashtag show.com. They specialize in geek pop culture.
He can't
Luckily,
talk
you write,
either.
not speak. I got it.
That is
You're not
very
doing a
true.
podcast for them, are you?
No.
No, okay. So you're just going to be writing
That's
for
a
them.
good thing.
Tell me some of the articles you've written so far.
I mainly write a lot of Power Ranger articles.
Which is your jam. It's
which
always
is
been
my
your thing.
stuff. I did a top 5 fan theories
Okay.
already. I have done 2 anime reviews because they look for those as well.
Okay.
And I recently just got done publishing a Kingdom Hearts 3 spoiler-free review for the game.
Nice.
Right on there.
I'm going to have, next week, we're going to have Dan Reamer from Game Stitch back in. And we're going to be talking about video games and stuff. So maybe you guys can chat about Kingdom Hearts at one point or
I
another.
love talking Kingdom Hearts.
That's
for,
awesome.
For a series.
Now, THS.com. And do you write it yourself or do you have a pen name?
It's first it's that hashtag show.com.
The hashtag show.com.
THS is just
Just your nickname for it.
Yeah.
Okay, the hashtag
and
show.com.
I am under Ray King.
Ray King.
Yeah.
Because Reyes in Spanish is
yeah,
king. Got
exactly.
it. I'm with you.
King, pretty much.
King. Or as Tony likes to call you, King Key.
Only on Tuesdays.
My girlfriend's
Jack.
not like that.
Missing a beat
I'm
today.
telling you.
They're on fire.
I got a good feeling about today. I think we're going to have some fun today.
Definitely on
I already
fire.
have.
And we're talking
Tony-
about cute blondes, so life is good.
And Tony picked out your guys' adventure for later today.
Oh man! Yeah, I heard that I'm in trouble.
I
That's
already
all right.
have 8 articles out for them that you can look up under my name.
That's cool.
Plug that whenever you're in the studio. Keep us posted on what you're working on, and I will be following that with great interest.
No
All right, so
problemo.
Ray King on the hashtag show.com website. So check that out. Our very own little Ray's growing up. I'm so proud of him.
Don't
Grow up so fast.
everyone else is amazing too. Joe, Kat,
Talk to him and see maybe we'll bring the whole crew in sometime.
I don't think they would mind that at all.
Yeah, bring the whole crew. We'll talk about the hashtag show sometime.
That'll be awesome.
All
They're
right.
based in California too, so
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, so we can't bring them in. We'll have to call them.
We'll have to call them in.
call them.
But if they ever come to Rochester, then we'll
Bring
bring
'em
them
in.
in. But let's see if we can arrange that because I think that'd be a fun conversation.
That'd be awesome.
All
Nice
right.
little cross section.
Yeah, a little crossover. It's all good.
When do we tell Ray that with the 3 yellow Power Rangers coming into Flower City
knows.
Comic-Con that we're going to keep them away from all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Well, that
There's
already
gonna-
didn't know. Thank you, Billy, for
Yeah,
spoiling that
gonna,
surprise.
we were gonna
Well-
bring that up later, but there's gonna be a cordon. There's gonna be a perimeter.
There's
of about
a
200
ray
feet.
boundary.
There's
There's
a ray
already
boundary.
posters.
Speaking of that, Joe already knows, and he's sending me to the convention
As a reporter,
as a reporter.
I'm gonna need to see that press credential. I'm gonna have to talk about that, but we'll see.
Well, he hasn't signed back up to volunteer press credentials.
Yeah,
so
there
until,
it is.
So until he goes back into Grotex, not.
Denied.
You saw the link. It was in the volunteer page. You saw the link.
Every time I do it, it shuts me down.
That's
Yes,
weird.
well, there's a reason for that.
Well, you know what?
That's a good
There have been some glitches with Grotix and the volunteers. So.
Yeah, Marlon was telling me he was having a little trouble too, so we'll have to talk about that in the break.
Yeah, there was someone that had to do it 3 times. I don't know what it is, but
So if you're
There was
out
a
there
glitch.
and you're listening and you're having issues with signing up for various things,
Just
you're getting certain things, just be patient.
email
or
Tanya your pertinent information,
Yep.
and I can go in and manually
and then
put
we'll figure
in.
it all out. All right, because we have that power. We're going to take a quick break, and when we do,
How are you? You
How am
went
I?
to everybody else, but
Yeah, how is Chris?
when we were going to take a quick break,
but you're on vacation this week.
I am on vacation this
So-
week, and,
so
and,
am
it's,
I.
and due to a great planetary alignment, it would have been my week with the kids.
Anyway.
They have week off from school, so I took a week off from work. So we're just the 3 of us are going to hang out. We're going to go driving together because both of them have permits now.
Oh, honey, you might have to.
Now you
color
understand
your
why the
hair.
gray hair
Yes.
is. Yeah, the gray hair is coming in.
A little bit more.
We'll do some day trips and maybe just putt around a little bit, play some games, and hang out.
Maybe get some body gear because you never know what's gonna happen with the
Your
driving.
car-
I've checked.
Your
I've
car's
checked
got
all
the airbags,
All
right?
of my airbags are in functioning order right
Okay.
now. I have checked. So
Do you have enough bubble wrap for your entire body?
no, I'm sorry. When you're 6'5", 245
We
pounds,
might at
there's
our
not enough
house.
bubble
Okay,
wrap. Sorry.
I might be able to give him some later.
But yeah, so I'm going to be enjoying some vacation
Never
time
mind.
with my kidlets and moving on.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun thing. There's other things going on, but I'm not going to talk about them yet.
And you're going to be at the TV station later this week.
Am I?
Yes, on Thursday.
Am I? Is that a thing?
I thought you and Laura were going to be on.
Well, this is what I get for missing staff meetings. It's a good thing I have vacation this week.
You're like, I'm on vacation, so therefore I can be at Channel 13.
I'm going to be on Channel 13
With
Thursday morning.
You have to be at the studio at 8 o'clock.
And we'll talk to people about things. Stuff and things.
Yes.
Doug and Norma?
Doug and Norma about stuff and things.
And Jennifer and Mike DiGiorgio.
I like Mike.
Yeah,
I've known
me
Mike
too.
since I was a freshman at Fisher.
Don
St. John Fisher.
Alhart? God, I love Don Alhart.
Oh,
Is it me or does Don Alhart wear suits that are 2 sizes too big for him these days?
Yeah, I've been noticing that.
As of late, yeah.
Yeah.
That's because he's part of a Talking Heads tribute band.
Yeah, thank you. There was the punchline I was looking for.
Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So, okay.
We're going to go to a break now?
So Wednesday this will be transmitting, and then tomorrow morning you'll see me on Channel 13, apparently. I need to know more about that. Anyway. Stuff and things.
Stuff and things.
Because I can't.
Just do what I'm doing.
Sabrina Victoria Spellman, the titular character of the Archie comic series Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Sabrina was first created by writer George Glatter and artist Dan DiCarlo, and she first appeared in Archie's Madhouse number 22 back in October of 1962.
Now, Billy is an Archie fan.
Yes, I am.
Do you happen to have that comic?
I don't have that exact comic, but I do have the story because when they put out the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina comic, they reprinted that first original story in the back of that comic.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
All right.
And I've read many Sabrina stories over the years.
So, see, here's the thing: is a lot of the kids and people who are younger than Tanya and I, and maybe Tony and Ray's age, would think that the character was created for the sitcom, and then they're looking past the idea that this was actually a venerable comic book character.
In fact, in the 70s, there was a cartoon show called The Groovy Ghoulies that featured Sabrina and her aunts living in a mansion with like cartoon representations of Frankenstein and Dracula.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And they all had goofy Archie type names, and they sang songs and made jokes and stuff.
I think I vaguely remember that.
So look
Oh,
out.
how
and,
things have changed.
and Sabrina always hung out with the Archie crew in those cartoon shows of the 70s.
So, in the original backstory, Sabrina was actually created by her 2 aunts. But this was something that was retconned and replaced by the 1996 hit sitcom that established Sabrina as, quote-unquote, half-mortal, with her mom as the ordinary human. In just about every permutation of the story, Sabrina is living with her aunts Hilda and Zelda, who are both witches in the fictional town of Greendale, which is conveniently enough located somewhere near Riverdale of the Archieverse fame. Now, the majority of Sabrina's adventures have always centered around her either trying to use her powers in secret to help others or dealing with day-to-day trials of being a teenager. But have her adventures taken a turn with the new Netflix series? It's been out for a little while now, so we've all had a chance to catch up on it thus far. I myself am now on episode 3 of the first season.
So if you haven't seen it, there might be a little bit of spoilers.
It is going to be a little spoiler action here if you have not seen it
I
yet.
wound up finishing the whole series
Did
over
you?
the past couple weeks.
Yeah, I
When it first came out, I ate
I'm probably
it.
going to try to take a chunk out of it this week now that I'm on
Right
vacation.
around
but-
Christmas, when they put out the Christmas special, I watched the entire series with my folks, and my mom was really into it, but my dad is really against like occult type stuff. So
Yeah, I mean they're not ashamed
They
of
are-
it. They come right out and talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
Church of Satan,
It's
Hail
very
Satan. It's like,
dark, yeah.
yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
Praise Satan.
When it first came out, I ate the whole season within like the time span.
Right now, we're just going to focus in on the
openings.
the openings of both
So
shows.
the 1996 show and the 2018 variant.
And the 1996 show, even though I've
made
been
me
an
want.
art,
I went back and watched it. Rewatched it.
I'd never seen an episode ever, despite being an Archie fan, a Sabrina fan.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'd never seen it before, so I watched that first episode when we were supposed to do this a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I know.
When
We
we
wound
got-
up
This is a long
getting
delay.
snowed
Snowed
out.
out.
So I rewatched it again this morning just to remind myself, and that's very similar in like feel to the original Archie stories,
the
obviously.
96.
And yes,
show.
and the new version is like the new comic, obviously, because it's based on that.
Yeah. The story has taken this turn. I've noticed that. I mean, I caught a couple of episodes because my kids were watching it when they were little. The reruns, constant reruns. So I'd catch it and I'd be like, okay, this is your average bubblegum fare. I did not know much about the depth into the Archieverse. I did not know about it until later. So we can talk about that first episode in 96. I'm going to just call it a hot mess.
I don't even
That
remember
that first Melissa Joan Hart episode was just a big raging hot mess.
Does it get better?
It gets cleaner.
Okay.
I think in terms of the production value and the execution, it gets a little bit cleaner in how it goes. But it's basically, I thought it was just a Disney Channel show. When I saw Paramount Network,
That's what it felt like.
It was just another Disney show as far as I was concerned.
Didn't it start off on Disney and then it moved over to like ABC for more like adult themes?
No, I
don't think it's a Disney. It's not Disney.
No, it was always Paramount and then CBS Network is basically.
Wasn't it part of the ABC TGI Friday lineup?
I think so.
Tiny's gonna have to look that up. I don't know offhand. She's on it. She's doing her thing. But yeah, I mean, it was just like I've seen many series premieres in the past 48 years, and that one just, now that I've become a critic of them, I'm trying to be a little bit more open about them. I was like, wow, how did this show survive to the second episode?
It was ABC, Teen Nick, the WB, and Freeform. Those are the
to be honest,
networks.
The first episode of almost all TV shows are almost always the worst episodes.
Really?
To me, because you're trying to...
It's the pilot. You're trying to figure out whether it's going to be a hit or not.
The characters don't necessarily always have what makes them the characters yet.
Well, I mean, a classic example would be the pilot of Star Trek itself, the original series, when you had Christopher Pike, and then Spock, and Spock's emotional outbursts throughout the entire episode of the Menagerie. And now, we wouldn't think that of him anymore. So there's definitely a lot of, and NCIS. Abby Shudo was an entirely, visually the same character she always has been throughout her entire run of NCIS. But in the first few episodes, there was an entirely different vibe coming off of that woman.
There was.
Yeah, there definitely was.
Yeah. I think what helps nowadays is the actual putting out of whole series or whole seasons at one time, because they have to write 12, 13, 14 episodes all at once, so they have a better handle on that first episode with a lot of the Netflixes and Amazon shows.
And if you look at Sabrina's first episode, it actually kind of reflects that, because her character feels very developed and lived in, and all of her actions there forward kind of fit the general character you're introduced to in the first episode.
And you're talking about Netflix version.
Yes, I'm talking about the Netflix version.
Because it's she knows that she's a witch.
Yes.
She knows that she's going to have her dark baptism.
Right.
And she knows that this is going to happen on her 16th birthday, that she's got to sign the book. Whereas in the original series, Melissa Joan Hart's Sabrina does not know that she's a witch. Her aunts do. And so, therefore, she just thinks she's a normal, going to be 16-year-old girl that's dealing with all that high school angst.
To Chris's point, that the fact that she almost blows it off and doesn't seem to be too rattled by this all of a sudden thing is, well, it's kid sitcom-y, but...
Right, exactly.
I mean, I kind of like the fact that one, she didn't know that she was going to be a witch.
Or that she was a witch, yeah.
Yeah. I like that, because I would like to see more of the whole... how she's going to deal with it later on, and how she has to...
And I think that's what is happening in regards to the 1996 series, is that she all of a sudden... Surprise! Guess what? You're a witch, and you're like,
you're a wizard, Sabrina. Oh wait,
that's something. And so, therefore, every episode is trying to figure out how to deal with these powers in order to keep them secret and things like that. And she wants to whatever. Whereas in the new Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, she already knows, and she knows that she has to keep them secret, and she's been practicing whatever she's had a chance to practice for so many years.
Additionally, with the old versus the new, the old show was a lot, in my opinion, it just seemed a little more campy.
Well,
wasn't everything in the 90s
it's a typical,
campy?
seriously, the Disney sitcom for kids, in essence.
And it was ABC, yeah.
Yeah.
They also had to make
I'm going to call it a Disney show.
Palatable for a much more Christian audience,
right?
Because the 90s was much more Christian than we are now.
Mm-hmm.
And the source material was Archie Comics, which until the last few years, there was no darkness and Archie comics at
Right.
all.
Yeah.
Everything was
Sugar,
happy-go-lucky.
sugar.
I mean, Archie did fight Predator not that long ago, so yeah.
I was reading about that because I was doing my research this morning, and I saw about the article in Archie versus the Predator.
Yeah, it's a Fernando Ruiz book, and it's really good.
And apparently they do go to Sabrina and her aunts for help, and the Predator catches up and kills everybody. It's like, oh, okay, that
was the
light and
first
fluffy.
sign of darkness in the Archieverse, except they used the classic Archie characters as, like, if you grew up reading Archie, you picture these characters. Nowadays, they've been reimagined and redrawn, and that, like the new Sabrina.
Well, the new Sabrina is also set in the same universe as the Riverdale TV series.
Yes, it is.
So
I think they're going to cross them
reference.
over.
yeah, I think
They're going to cross
I
them
heard
over
that,
soon.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
Yeah, and
being
that's
told.
like
at least.
one of the like little Easter eggs type thing
Yeah.
that we've.
Like she's going to turn Jughead into a newt. I don't know. It's going to be a thing.
Now, I always wondered
me into a
because
newt.
I didn't grow up reading Archie, but I know who he is and stuff. Is there another town? Is there like a third town?
There's
well,
Riverdale. And
Riverdale, Greendale,
Greendale.
and then some other Dale.
and wherever
Overhill, Overdale.
wherever Josie and the Pussycats are from.
That's true, because they're part of the Archieverse as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
they
because
are.
aren't they not originally from?
thought they're from
Archie
Riverdale. And see, I always
they?
thought Sabrina was from Riverdale until
I'm having a moment now. Sorry, I'm just thinking of Josie and the Pussycats show now. That's got potential, especially in this new.
Yeah,
they are in Riverdale.
Yeah.
So
Okay. See, now I'm in. Okay.
See, the movie back in the 90s was horrible, but that's a different
I
topic.
Oh my God! Yeah, but the
disagree.
music was good
I disagree. I think it's highly underrated and pretty smart.
because of the way it's a satire and it's like overtly satire. It's like it's not afraid to flaunt it and just throw it in your face that it's satire.
I think that movie's pretty underrated. I like it a lot. So
All right, and we're off the beaten track as we usually do.
digressions.
Not
and-
really. We're still talking about like things
show.
surrounding the universe.
But there are a couple Easter eggs to Riverdale. And
Yes.
In a later episode, a character that was in Riverdale gets killed by one of the characters in Riverdale.
Well, and there is definitely like a throwback to like the Archie comics in the first series or in the first episode. Because when I was watching it, I'm just like watching Sabrina carry her thermos,
Okay.
which throws back.
It had the Archies on it, didn't it?
Yes, it had all the characters from the band, the Archies.
Right.
And it just reminded me of those thermoses from the 70s and the 80s that went with the plastic lunchboxes.
See,
And I'm just like,
Yeah.
wait, what's on it? And of course, I'm like, Googling my phone, what's on her thermos? And sure enough,
the TV show, The Chilling Adventures, is pretty, I want to call it timeless because they don't say exactly when it's set. It isn't set in modern times because at one point Harvey has an iPhone, but they don't use technology as much as kids nowadays
They're
would.
not really relying on it in this
No.
series.
It's not a big part of the show, the timeline of it.
I think that's refreshing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I love my iPhone, I really do. I think it's actually really refreshing that they're not every couple seconds. Okay, let's hit the computer or let's check this out online. No, they're like
well, and
kind
it,
of looking at books and stuff. I like that.
and it looks like it says that there's a possibility that the two shows exist in different dimensions.
Oh, Riverdale and Sabrina?
Riverdale and Sabrina.
Uh-oh.
It says, much like the multiverse situation that plays out weekly on The Flash.
Oh, okay.
Another timeline for the Flash to mess up.
Yeah. So it was just like, it says just 1 week before the season 1 of Sabrina premiered on Netflix, the show, character Ben Button from Riverdale
Yeah, that's the one
had died by suicide on Riverdale by jumping out of the hospital window, but he's seen delivering pizza to Sabrina's
Mrs.
house.
Wardwell. No.
And or Miss Wardwell. Wormwell.
Wardwell.
It's Melissa Gomez. It's Michelle Gomez.
It's Michelle Gomez.
Yes.
Yeah, Missy.
Wardwell, yes. So it was like, yeah, what? So
It's definitely interesting. I read somewhere that before Riverdale actually like got off the ground and knew what it was, they were thinking about introducing Sabrina as a character and having her be the primary antagonist of the TV series, as like this witch antagonist trying to derail like Archie and the gang.
That would have been so awkward.
Yeah, because even right now, she doesn't like play that antagonistic type.
No.
Well, it was like it was.
Well, her big
definitely going
campaign, her big campaign in that first episode of the new series is the girl empowerment, which is great because that's the general universal message these days. So it fits into the overall theme of today's culture.
Yeah.
But you know, she was out trying to help her one of her girlfriends who was being bullied. Mm-hmm. You know, and so you see this heroic figure. Mm-hmm. Right, they're cutting the cloth of
who
wants to do the right things, wants to help people, but also has coming to grips with the fact that she has this
power that she's got.
This other side.
That
she's one with the dark side.
They have cookies.
They have cookies.
That something that she's been kind of groomed for. Groomed and groomed and groomed. That this was just the natural order. That it was just naturally that she was going to sign that book on the night of her dark baptism, and this is what she was prepping for.
Yeah, but they also, and here's a spoiler alert, and they just telegraphed the hell out of the fact that you knew she wasn't going to sign.
Yeah,
they telegraphed it. I mean,
because she's coming to grips with the fact that there's more to her than what she's being told to do, that she can make her own choices. And she's going to have to deal with any repercussions from her family, from the Church of Satan or the Church of Night and things like that about the choices that she's making. But the fact is, she's the one making them, and they're not dictating them for her.
I actually really enjoyed the Church of Night.
I'm sure you would.
I thought they were really good antagonists.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation. Now, I'm enjoying. You know, in the old series, you had the ants played by Beth. I'm going to get to you, Tony. You had the ants played by Beth Broderick and Carolyn Ray, and it created some interesting dynamic. You know, the two of them played off of each other, and we got a chance to meet Beth this past June at FC3. I will let everybody know. Sherry, another reason we delayed this recording is we were trying to actually get Beth to call in.
Oh,
yeah,
and give her
give her 2 cents in on it, because we struck up this great relationship while she was a guest at FC3 recently,
and she was talking a little bit
about it. So we figured we'd give her a call so she could put her 2 cents in on this conversation. It didn't work out, so we're just going to go ahead and record it anyway. But you had an entirely different vibe between Zelda and Hilda back in the day. Now you have this like almost a love-hate relationship between these two people, these two sisters. And there's they're right on same page with each other, but there's also the strong adversarial aspect.
Yeah.
Again, spoiler alert, at one point, Zelda kills Hilda.
Several times.
Yeah, they mentioned that she does that when she gets frustrated with her.
She gets frustrated with Hilda, kills her, buries her out the back. She comes back. It's a thing.
It's like it's taking a little longer to regenerate and come back.
Why? You know, you're getting slower.
We're getting older, yeah.
Now, wouldn't you love to just take something and just hit your sibling with it? Like, oh, you're just going to come back anyways.
I'm an only child.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
Dick,
see, I would
thanks
love
for
that.
rubbing that in.
I would love that.
I would never do that because I love my siblings.
Me too.
They're also bigger than you are.
Well, no.
And they crush you.
I'm the
Isn't
youngest,
there one
but I'm bigger
younger
than
than you?
My sister's younger than me, and then I could probably beat up one of my older brothers.
Probably. You see this?
Probably.
Probably. He's not listening, is he?
No, he's not.
You see, I'm the youngest.
He's definitely not.
You see, I'm the youngest, but I'm the biggest. So it's like,
Yeah, but in your world, that doesn't mean damn thing, because you live with a bunch of Puerto Rican women.
Not even a
they
little
will
bit.
kick your ass upside down.
Yeah, they would.
Size
Also,
matters not.
Size definitely doesn't matter.
Size
My sister
matters not.
Definitely
You
could kick
can
my
run
ass.
when you run and you turn the corner. If your mom shoots a slipper at you, the slipper turns the corner with you.
Yeah, she's got chancleta speed powers right there, man. She's got the chancleta force.
No one ever believes me when that happens.
Yeah. So now, like, just looking at the dynamics between the ants, it's like the original dynamics were like, oh, Hilda did something idiotic or whatever, and Zelda has to go back and fix it or whatever type thing.
Although
and now,
Hilda has a lot of, she has definite uses in terms of, like, she's a very good witch in terms of the stuff she knows and the powers she has. It's just she's not as forthright with her powers as Zelda is.
And she, in the original series, she had dated Penn or Teller. Which one was it? Penn?
I think it was
Penn's the tall one.
Penn's the tall one. I think it was
Teller doesn't
Penn.
talk.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and what happens in the first episode of the 96 thing is Sabrina let her finger get away from her, and she turns the Libby into a pineapple. And so now wants to turn back time, and in order to do that, they've got to go to the other dimension and have to ask, and didn't work out so well for her, so they send Caroline Ray's character in because she was either engaged to him or whatever, and she's like, I don't want to do it. You could just see the, like, ugh.
See, I like, in the new Chilling Adventures, I like a lot of the darker characters. I'd rather hang out with them than
they seem more interesting.
Harvey or Mrs. Wardwell annoys me.
Who's the cousin in the new series?
Ambrose is
I
very
love
cool.
him.
Yeah.
Ambrose is very cool.
I did wonder that. Was there an Ambrose in the original one?
I don't remember.
Not in 1996 TV show. There was an Ambrose in the comic books.
Okay.
But he was a portly older gentleman, still Sabrina's cousin.
Not a gay
But
mortician.
He was a dapper, like, fat guy who in his 40s.
Not a young guy who tried to blow up the Vatican.
No.
Yes.
Is that what happened and why he is on his...
Is that finally revealed somewhere along
Yeah,
the lines?
that's revealed somewhere.
Yeah.
Sorry,
'cause
spoilers.
Spoiler. Thank you.
But I knew he had some type of sentence where he could,
Fired.
where he could not leave the mansion grounds or the mansion or the
Yeah,
house.
he was on house
things like
arrest.
He can't leave the whole
Grounds.
where the grounds that they own. He can't go past that.
I love
Right.
the fact that they have a funeral home. And
There is a
actuary,
certain twist to
yeah.
that.
That's a good way to get a lot of the materials that they need for spells and stuff. Because
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh, and I love the
that they
throwaway
want
line.
an
Miranda
open
Otto at
casket.
one point says, "It's a pity they want open
Open
casket.
casket.
We haven't had long pig in a while," and walks away. And she says it so casually. It's like, "Holy shit!"
Miranda Otto and Lucy Davis are excellent.
They
as
are.
the
They are a
ants.
lot of fun to
I
watch.
like Lucy Davis. I first became aware of in the British version of The Office.
Yeah.
She was their version of Pam.
Okay.
Although she was first. She was Dawn on the British Office. And I've seen her in a bunch of stuff since, and she's always really charming, and I really like her. So.
And when I was watching the entire series, and I'm like, I know, Zelda. I'm like, I know that face. I know that face.
I eventually had to Google.
I had to. It's Eowyn from Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Oh, actually, I thought of her as guy I can't think of the character's name in Homeland. I don't know if you watch
Okay.
Homeland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
I
didn't
know what you're talking
watch
about. Yep.
She's-
But I'm just like, oh, for the life of me. And
Yeah. Tanya looks over at me and goes, "That's Eowyn." Yes, honey. Thank you for catching up. Nicely done.
I'm a little slow to the story.
But we all still love you.
Yeah, that's okay.
I like the way that
Maybe not Ray, but the rest of us
Yeah,
do.
well,
After you read.
I like the way that the
Ladies.
aunts in the original series played off, but there was just something about the new aunts that it was. You guys are scary. You guys
Yeah,
actually
well,
are,
here's the
are
thing.
willing to,
Here's
to
the thing.
kill each
in
other.
the original series, the '96 series, it was light, fluffy kids sitcom.
Yeah.
And so the ants were standing in for the
Parent
the,
figures.
the stupid parent figure. All right, they were the foils. They were the ones you had to sneak around. You had to hide from. You had to kind of dupe them so you could get what you wanted done. You know, because there was this whole thing where, you know, in the kids sitcoms back in the '90s and early 2000s, well, the parents were just dumb. You know, they were an obstacle you had to get around, and they were always portrayed kind of in a sense that they were useless to a particular degree. And so the ants were kind of that foil. Now, they weren't like blatantly written stupid or anything like that. Sorry about that, Beth. I didn't mean to call you stupid. But the long and the short of it is that now in this new storytelling era that we live in these days, where everything is edge, everything's real, everything's got that, you know, consequence to it, you have these two characters, and they've each got their own, you know, multiple sides, multiple facets to each other. It creates a more in-depth character. It creates, I'll tell you, Zelda has gone from the old wise ant that you have to kind of figure out how to deal with her to she is frightening.
She is.
She's a little
you
little
listen to
scary.
me or
Because you don't know what she's thinking and you don't want to cross her.
Or
Yeah.
here's the thing: is you know what she's thinking, and
you
it's
still don't
scary,
wanna-
and you're still, yeah, it's like, oh, I know where this is going, and that's not good.
As in every good series, as the series progresses, she gets other sides to her that that you'll appreciate.
Yeah, and you
Oh,
can
yeah.
definitely see that even though that she's not thrilled with what... Is it working now?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ray has heard the light. Continue, please.
Got derailed at this station. that she's like, Sabrina, this is what your job is, blah 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 blah. This is what you're expected to do. However, she will do everything and anything for family.
Yeah.
You can definitely see it that she's like, I don't like it, but family comes first.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Type thing.
There's a huge difference between the Zelda that we got, which was more, okay, like Chris said, okay, this person messed up, now I gotta go fix it, great. To where it's now the Zelda that we have now, oh, you messed up, I'm gonna let you try to fix it, see what you do, and if you don't do it right, then I'll do it my way. And fix it then. And then that's how you're gonna learn.
It definitely feels like a much more like viable parent archetype than, say, the stupid parents of the 90s and early 2000s, because I absolutely hated that. Even as a kid, I thought it was stupid.
Yeah. No, seriously, and I've always bristled at it.
Yeah.
You know, and then the pendulum swing, and we can get into, because this is part of another conversation we're planning on having. You know, but for the longest time, you had the objectification of women, right? So the balancing point was, let's make all men in commercials and TV shows, make them freaking stupid, so that, you know, and this is just, guys, can we just tell a story about real people?
Right.
Oh, guess what we just did? Here it is now, and it's a Netflix series. Have a nice day. When I was doing some research, let me just ask this question to the guys and the gals here. I was reading one article this morning where it basically said the chilling adventures of Sabrina has made a couple of mistakes.
I would tend to agree.
And the critics who say that have said there's a couple of occasions where they have made a couple of mistakes, but overall has landed a decent story to build on.
I agree. I mean, it's not a perfect show. It has slower episodes. It has things that, you know, but there are. Overall, it's a very good show.
What kind of mistakes do we think it made?
So
I think in terms of pacing.
Okay. Is it just pacing is the main issue?
For me.
Okay.
My thing is, like, the very first episode, they're coming from a horror movie or whatever, and Miss Wardwell is there, and she is this quiet book, mousy type thing, and then, of course, she goes through her change because she's,
and then Missy shows up, basically.
Yeah, and it's like, did not
Anybody
anyone else
pick
up? I'm like, so I know Sabrina's like Miss Wardwell.
Yeah.
Her character
like,
completely
like,
changed.
180
and
degree turn, and like
everybody kind of just accepts it.
And like, really?
Yeah.
That was like my one issue.
Well, the Whovian in me screamed with glee because Missy has arrived at that point. Is basically what I was saying. But Tony, you were going to say.
So there was like one specific aspect, one specific plot point that I thought was very weird, how they handled it. You're on the third episode, right? You've gotten through
I've
the court
started
case?
the first, I'm like 10 minutes into the third episode right now.
Have you gotten to like the court case?
No.
Okay.
Court case is later on.
Oh, is it?
The court case is like one of the last couple episodes.
No, it had to be early. Like
the Daniel Webster episode, right?
Yeah, the one where it's like, that's like 3 or 4.
I'm not sure.
Well, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
There's like an aspect in that episode where they talk about the Catholic Church.
Okay.
And my thing is like, if that's I really don't want to spoil it for you. But,
yeah, please don't.
Yeah.
We'll brush up against that later.
Yeah.
How about we come back? We'll circle around to that in another episode.
Actually, one other weak point. Sabrina's way too good a wit, or not good in terms of person, but power. Like, she's supposedly just learning.
Well,
but
I got the vibe that they've been teaching her all along. That's the thing, is that like in the original series, the Melissa Joan Hart series, you know, as we've said on a couple of occasions, she didn't, at the beginning of the outset of the story, did not know she was a witch. But in this one, they give you the impression that she's been raised in this culture. She has been taught. She has been made to understand that this is a thing since she was born.
Maybe I don't like the I know better than you attitude that she has. Maybe in the later episodes where
really, because I got more of a I still want to learn more, but I don't want to use it too often kind of thing. I got the I'm better than you vibe from the Three Sisters.
I like the Weird Sisters.
The succubitches?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did like that.
Well, I guess it is chapter 3. I guess that's the episode that has to do with the church.
Yeah.
But I thought it was later on.
Yeah.
That's a very good.
I still haven't gotten to it. So, yeah. Anyway,
when is it? Tony, when do we meet the the guy that runs the dark church.
Oh, he's right there in
He's
episode
right
1.
there in episode 1.
What do you guys think of him?
The basically the dark pope kind of thing.
What do you guys think of
Father
him?
Blackwood.
Yeah, he's a little too predictable.
You think so?
I think he's just basically a trope in a nice suit. That's the impression. When he showed up and he was doing his thing and he's making his speeches and whatnot, and everybody was like kind of like shuddering to be around, like they're so nervous to be around this guy, and I'm like, yeah, this guy is basically just he's a facet of the story to move something else. That's what I thought. I mean, I don't know how much deeper he gets. Did they keep going back to him?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a
I finished
reoccurring
it. Yep.
episode.
All right.
I think he's a fine character. For some reason,
I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad
Yeah,
character. I'm
yeah.
just saying he's a predictable character.
yes, yeah, he
You know.
is, and his personality pretty much stays the same throughout.
Yeah.
It does stay the same, but I'm not saying I had difficulty with him, but I had a challenge trying to figure out what he was there for. Because there are certain characters that they introduce and they just stay there for a while. It's like,
Yeah.
why are you here?
Dude.
I like Susie, and Harvey annoys me. I'm sorry, but
Really?
I
I'm not
didn't
getting
like
the vibe
Harvey
on
either.
Harvey either. It's like, wait a minute, it's almost like they threw him in there because he's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
He was
I
in the
actually-
comic book. He was in the '96 series. So we have to have a Harvey. So this is what we'll do with Harvey. It almost feels like the writers would be like, if we could live without Harvey, we'd be happier.
That's weird because I actually really enjoyed Harvey. I thought he was like one of the. He's probably a character I most closely identified with.
maybe
Yeah.
that's why.
There's a lot in that comment that you just made that tells me a lot about you as a person. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Were you
I
traumatized
understand
in
you.
a mind?
I understand you that much better now, Tony.
I think you're dead on though, in that I also see a lot of myself in Harvey, and I don't always like myself. So
Yeah,
Did your brother come back to life because of a spell?
yeah, you got me.
Well, as I've often
Spoilers.
said, there's nobody on the planet who hates me more than I
That
do.
is a
so,
spoiler. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
That was a little spoilery, but that's okay. I already read that in an article earlier, so you're saved at the moment. But don't do it again. No, really. We got anything else we want to talk about with this show? Other than will we recommend people who have not yet watched The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina to watch it?
I would.
I actually watched the new one before.
It's a yes or no question, Tony.
Sorry. yes.
based
Come on, Tony.
based on the tastes of the people you're recommending it to. Like I know Susan wouldn't enjoy it.
No, Susan wouldn't
No.
get into it.
So, but I would recommend it to people who I know enjoy this type of thing.
Here's an off-color spoiler. When I was watching it, my son was home, and he expressed no interest in watching it, so he got up to walk away. And on a couple of occasions during the course of the viewing, because I watched it a second time without you, and the gang being there, but a second time he comes walking through, and it happened to be the
Mine scene with the three.
No, it was before that. It was when Sabrina's climbing up out of the bathtub. And
Did he stop?
He stops dead in his tracks. He goes, "Ooh, side boob," and stays for a few minutes. When she put clothes on, he was very disappointed and walked away. So I'm like, got to know your audience, apparently.
I would recommend Riverdale to my wife, but as I finished up binge watching the series, and I won't tell you what happens, but there's an episode called Feasts of Feasts.
Okay.
And when the feast thing happens, I could just picture Susan. She wasn't there. She's already gone to bed. That's it. I'm done. I'm out of here.
That's it. I'm out.
I actually wrenched. I had to go to the bathroom after that episode.
I stopped.
Really?
I
Yeah,
stopped
it was-
for the night.
Feast of Feasts.
Yeah, I had to. I actually too had to stop for that that night too.
Got a little brutal, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are we talking like hiding behind the pillows kind of a
Oh
thing?
no, I kept
No,
going.
it's-
I
Yeah,
had
but
to-
you're twisted.
It's
Right.
It's the
There's something
darkest
wrong
thing
with you.
I've seen on TV. Like
Since
that
Black
is-
Mirror?
Oh, good point.
I haven't started.
Okay.
I've also started stopped after a couple Black Mirror episodes where I have to stop and think about them and let it digest.
Okay.
Not to be. That was
I'm
no pun intended.
I'm almost okay. I can only imagine now. I'm starting to piece together the clues that you guys are putting out there, and I'm like, oh, goody.
Now, so that was on Riverdale?
No, that was,
it's
Sabrina.
Sabrina,
the
okay.
Feast of Feast
Yeah,
episode.
that's okay.
The Thanksgiving episode, strangely enough.
the
Oh, lovely.
the Feast of Feast.
I mean,
episode.
I watched it, and I'm just like,
Haven't
Really?
watched it.
But I just
Wow.
Be careful.
I know.
That made me
At this
check-
rate, I might not watch it at this point.
That's like I was watching Friday. I watched a few episodes Friday night, and after that, I go, okay, I'm done for tonight with this show.
So I should watch this particular episode in the middle of the day during a sunny afternoon.
No, you
No,
should
I-
watch this episode
don't
at
watch it.
midnight. That's the best time to watch it.
Hey, definitely watch it. Definitely watch it after dinner.
He's shaking his head no while saying, yes, this is what you have to do. All right.
Okay, hold
so
on.
anyway, let's just circle around.
The one good
Go ahead.
joke during that particular episode, because it takes place on Thanksgiving, is that the witches treat it like Jewish people treat Christmas. They go to the movies, they eat Chinese food. So I thought that was pretty
That's
funny.
cute. That's cute. All right, so let's get the whole consensus. We want to recommend or not recommend this show, Billy.
Yes.
Okay, Tanya.
yes.
Me. Yes. Ray.
Definitely.
And Tony.
Depends on the person, but yes.
Okay. And that's true. You got to know your audience.
Yeah.
Which is something
someone
we're bad
like
at.
My dad, definitely not.
Right.
Someone like my mom, yes.
Okay.
I think if you want to recommend us, Sabrina, if you want to recommend this one, go ahead. But then, hey, check out the first 5 of this one. If you like this one better, then go watch the other.
I
Sabrina.
say read the comic. Read the
Or read
Chilling
the comic,
Adventures
And there's a new
Sabrina.
series out, 8 issues. Ray found it on in the Wikipedia. So there's a new series of comic books for the Chilling. Is it the Chilling Sabrina
I think
Adventures?
so, yeah.
I know it was supposed to come out. I didn't know.
Or
it
it's
had
going to
yet.
it's going to have an 8 episode. Here is he's showing me the page now.
Oh,
So
the new
Chilling-
TV show, yes, comes out in April.
Oh, I can't wait.
The next season.
Next season comes out in April.
Oh,
Although
okay.
if you
Here,
notice,
hang on.
they call it Part
Chilling
1.
Adventures of Sabrina is an American comic book series published by Archie Horror, an imprint of Archie Comics. Beginning in 2014, the series focuses on Sabrina during her teenage years in the 1960s, with flashbacks to the 1950s. The series is a darker take on the characters and setting of the original Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh, in the comics.
It was written by Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa.
Yep.
With art by Robert Hack.
Which is gorgeous. God,
Yeah, I'm
art
looking
is
at the cover.
amazing.
I'm looking at the cover of issue 2, and it's like, holy crap, that's
And
cool
I
stuff.
highly recommend issue 6 of that series, where it tells Salem's backstory.
Okay. And
I
that's
love
the character.
Salem.
We never really got into that character, did we? We didn't.
Salem the cat, yeah.
Salem the cat. Salem the cat was basically really bad animatronics in the original '96 series.
Voiced by a comedian I really like, a
Who is
comic actor by the name of Nick Bakay.
Oh, I
He's
know
from
Nick
Buffalo.
Bakay. I know Nick Bakay. Yeah. Yeah, that's
but-
okay.
Can we get him for FC3?
We can work on that.
I always like Nick Bakay.
I think
I can work on
when
that.
it comes to Salem, I like the fact that he's more of a familiar
Yeah.
in this series.
Instead of a comic relief.
yeah.
Right.
I wish they did more with him
I think it's going to grow.
Yeah.
I think
That's a thing that's
it's
gonna
truly
grow.
going
I
to
think
grow.
it was harder to train a real cat.
I hope he
and
doesn't talk.
things.
I don't want him to talk. I like him the way he is.
Right now, yeah.
Well,
No,
he
I-
has talked, hasn't he?
No.
In familiar form, he has.
There's hisses and whatnot that almost sound like words, but
I think he talks when he comes to first meet Sabrina, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'm your familiar. What do you and blah blah blah." But as a cat and all that other stuff from now on,
A lot of meows.
it's a
Okay.
lot of meows and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not.
I definitely feel like he's talked, but it was like only like I think you're right. It definitely was like words that sounded like cat sounds.
And hisses and stuff, yeah.
That or I've been spending way too much time with my cat.
I think you've been spending way too much time
that
with the cat.
I'm in on that one. That
And,
is.
and I like the use
I'm
of
gonna
the
go with.
3 witches, which dates back to Macbeth.
The Weird
The Weird
Sisters.
Sisters,
Yeah.
yeah.
And thank you. I was getting that vibe. I thought it was the only one. Thank you
No.
very much for that.
I mean,
With the
think of
sisters?
The Weird
Sisters.
Sisters, yeah.
from Macbeth to Charmed.
Yeah.
Is it 3 witches that...
And it definitely and they're dressed like Puritan times.
Yeah, like
they're dressed like
pilgrims.
Puritan times, matched with the what it was the Fruza Bulk movie, The Craft.
Yes,
That's what I.
it
That was the
reminded
vibe I
me
was
of.
getting.
Yeah, so I'm just like, wow.
You know. So all right, so lots to talk about with this show, and I'm gonna make sure I binge it this week while I'm home on vacation, doing nothing but panicking about driving with my children, which is scarier than the show. Being in the car with one of my kids behind the wheel is
Until you watch
scarier
Feast to Feast.
than
You
the
want
show.
me to take one of them? You can take you take the other one. I have
It's
a
your
hard.
it's your insurance. That's all I gotta say.
Mine won't even get behind the wheel.
Flip a coin. Heads is Juliana. Tails is
I'll let the kids
Ian.
decide.
Anyway. So, all right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got events, we got business, and we've got our question of the week.
I've got to get better at this magic.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Act 3, short segments. This is when we talk about all the other stuff that we didn't talk about at the beginning.
One last thought. That's how you can tell the Netflix show's better than the ABC show.
Tell me.
We spent way more time talking about it than we did.
We really
ABC
did.
show.
We kind of glanced around the 96 show, and we went, and
How long did the 96 show run?
4 or 5 years, I think. So, Melissa Joan Hart versus Kiernan Shipka in a cat fight. Who's going to win? I'm going with Kiernan.
Kiernan.
Yeah.
I'm going with Kiernan. But anyway, because she seems pretty badass. So while she's, I'm going to have to vent my ass off again because
96 to 2003, 7 years.
there we go. See, I was not
So long enough to get syndication.
To go
Yeah.
from Tina the Teenage Witch to Sabrina the Grown-Up Witch.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that,
it
that
kind
she
of was.
runs away with Harvey at the end.
Aw.
Really? Oh, spoilers.
2003, that was 16 years ago.
I was
Come
just
on.
about to say.
Spoilers.
Give you spoilers.
It's a new fragrance from the Monkeyverse.
Spoilers.
That is seriously, that's a commercial we have to film someday. All in black and white,
Hell
right?
yeah.
We'll do it at the
Spoilers?
Hungerford building so that all the artists are there, and we'll just do some serious Calvin Klein satire.
Have
and,
like me and Ray like shirtless.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so down.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, because no, I'm not doing the idea anymore.
I sprayed on you. You sprayed on me.
Heck
No.
yeah.
We gotta get Wheeze to do that. And just have Wheeze look at
I'm
it and go,
done.
Norman Bates is his own mother.
Oh my god. So what do we have coming up?
we have one event on the list, and it's the big one.
2 months from now.
Flowers City Comic-Con 2019, the 4th show, April 13th and 14th at the Blue Cross Arena. Our guests so far, Ray,
Forever Yellow.
not 1, not 2, but 3 Yellow Rangers.
I'm very excited.
I can tell.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I'm just going to answer that right now because when it comes to Power Ranger lore, I have no
I know,
freaking clue.
But, I know. But
Right, did I know?
Each one are part of a season that they each replaced another one in.
Oh, so they're basically, it's the second, third, fourth Doctor kind of thing working?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. All right. And that would be Karen Ashley, Nakia Baris, and Tracy Lynn Cruz. Karen is our first returning VIP because she was at the first FC3 back in 2016. Sweet lady. I can't wait to see her again. I
I
missed
showed you
her.
that Instagram post she made when
Yep.
a long time ago.
Yeah, she's awesome sauce. All right, who else is coming? Artist and writer Rusty Gilligan, former wrestler Jim Hacksaw Duggan, and actor Michael Bean. And the return of comic artist Steve Geiger, who was also with us at the 2016 show. So Steve will be coming back and
We
visiting with us.
did do an announcement
Did we?
that Caitlin Yarsky,
Ooh, local artist Caitlin
local
Yarsky.
arts, and Nigel Carrington's was announced recently too.
Nice. Caitlin and Nigel, awesome folks. Can't wait to see them as well. We are still accepting applications for pretty much everything. Vendors, artists, writers, panelists, game designers, game runners, and others. Contact us for more information.
And if you want to volunteer and that link is not working, just send your information to Tanya at fc3roc.org.
That's right. Because that's the way to do it.
Yes.
You play your guitar on your MTV. That ain't working. That's the... Never mind. You want to be part of the FC3 Monkey Business and Mighty Monkey Corporation? There are a few ways of doing that. The first is to become... Well, you know what? The first is to call up and say, hey, I want to work with you guys. And we will then hire you and fire you and hire you again and fire you probably 3 or 4 more times and then invite you to the cast parties afterwards.
So
It's a
be
vicious
like me.
cycle, but it pays off in the end.
It does
But
pay off
if
in
you
the
don't
end.
want to be hired and fired or whatever, you could become
You can become a sponsor.
There you go.
You guys
We
will
have-
end up like me and Tony.
Yeah. Oh, I don't. That's not an actual. That's not a plus, dude. That's not one of those recruiting
Come
things.
on, we're goals here.
100%.
We have sponsorship levels of all kinds and are even willing to create custom sponsorship packets. Please contact us at sponsorships, plural, at fc3roc.org. The next is by supporting us on Patreon. Patreon is a way to support the people who are creating the things that you love.
such as monkey business.
Exactly. Please check us out at www.patreon.com/fc3roc. All membership levels will include access to the Patreon-only blogs, plus tons of great perks at all levels. Special shout-outs to our See No Evil tier patrons, James Irish, Jen Bevan, and our very own co-hostess with the mostest, Tanya Metris. Want to help others find the show? Please leave us a review wherever you listen to us, and you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Podbean, YouTube, and Stitcher. We are now actually being hosted at Transistor. That is our new. That's our new host.
We've moved from Speaker to Transistor.
Spreaker to Transistor.
We've grown a little.
We've grown
too big
so
for,
large at this point that we had to move beyond Spreaker, and that was kind of cool. We're on like what is this, episode 107 or 8, something like that. We're moving right along. We are the life of the highway.
Right along.
And your way is my way, so
that
trust
song.
my navigation.
I want my
California,
MTV.
here we come. The pie in the skyland, palm trees and worm sand. Though
Yes.
sadly, we just left Rhode Island.
See, I don't-
Can't do it.
Nice.
I cannot avoid that song. All right, want to help others find the show? I just went through all of that. And please follow us on Twitter at FC3MB Podcast. And if you do, please say hi. We love it when you say hi. We will most likely say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hola.
Hola.
¿Cómo está?
Mi amiga,
Repitan, por
Amigo.
favor. El gato
Konnichiwa.
es en el baño.
The cat is in the bathroom.
Yes. Mi pantalones es en fuego.
And your pants are on fire.
That's all I know in Spanish. I'm sorry.
A mí también.
I know. Back in the day when we were playing a D&D game back around early 2001, 2002, my buddy Matt was the wizard in the party. And he created a spell called Screech's Flaming Pants. And the material and somatic component was basically he pointed at somebody and would scream, liar, liar.
Pants on fire.
And if they failed to save, guess what? The pants are, that was a thing. So anyway.
Okay, are we ready for our question of the week?
I think we were ready for the question of the week about 2 hours ago. If you had a custom or geeky family crest, what would be on it and why? Tony, if you had a custom or geeky family crest, what would be on it?
This
And
is kind
why?
of awkward because my family actually does have a family crest.
Yes,
but is it geeky?
So,
Is
no,
it-
it isn't.
Yes,
So
I have one too, but that's beside the point.
the geeky one would probably look similar to the actual one, as I would have it like divided down the middle. You would have blue chevrons to like represent R2 on the side, which
There it is.
it's actually red chevrons on my normal family crest. And the left side, instead of the sparrow on top of bricks, it would be I don't know, like an owl on top of a TARDIS or something.
There you go. There it is.
Hi,
I'm wondering where I'm going next.
Philly, right?
No.
No.
We're going to put Tanya on the hot
Yeah,
seat. Hey,
we can-
Tanya.
Hi.
I'm going to delay just a moment longer. I'll repeat the question and give you more time to think. If you
Where do
had
you
a
like
custom/geeky family crest, what would be on it and why?
I think my geeky family crest would be a jumble of a lot of stuff that would be on there. But when I was thinking about it the other day, it was probably going to have like some type of like medieval castle with a dragon. Then I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that's kind of like normal type thing.
It's funny that something like that could be considered normal. I love that.
type
That's
thing.
awesome.
But I was like, I think maybe it would have to be like the Millennium Falcon and like the TARDIS and like maybe a dragon chasing them all down and things like that. It's like kind of putting like all my fandoms together.
In one shot.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And definitely maybe like a fairy princess in there somewhere because my name means fairy queen in Russian. So
Tatiana.
Tatiana.
Yeah. Now, you are not on your birth certificate Tatiana. It's
No, it's
Tanya.
Tanya.
But Tanya is a
its
permutation
derivative
of
is
Tatiana.
a Russian, yeah.
Okay.
But
Titania
Tatiana.
and Oberon. Anyway.
A fairy queen, right? Is it like some
Yeah.
like the fairy queens
Yeah, from
Great
Midsummer
Britain?
Night's Dream. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm Irish and British, so
There
it
you go.
works.
Billy.
Actually, I might have a couple that already exist in a way.
There's gonna be a bowling ball on it.
No, in that when Susan and I first got married, my niece painted a thing for us, or through some artistic manner of whatever she does. We have the Batman
That's
logo
logo.
with our
That's-
with our last name in the middle of it.
Nice.
And that wound up on the dinner table that you've all eaten around. If you know the big yellow table with the Batman symbol and
It has
Victoria in the
Datsumori
middle, and
around.
so probably the Batman symbol with our wedding date and the last name in the middle of the Batman thing, or a picture of Plastic Man with a bunch of cats that we currently own.
There you go.
Which we have many commissions of our favorite artists doing Susan's favorite superhero Plastic Man with our cats. And we got like 5 or 6 of those or 7 of them.
Maybe you'll need to have them commission a family crest.
A family crest with Plastic Man and cats. So one of those.
That's cool. That's fun right there. I like that. You, young man.
Actually, I was sitting here thinking about it.
I'm assuming there's going to be a Power Ranger involved. No?
No.
Oh,
Then you're lying.
That's a surprise. Then
You're a liar.
Then
You're
you
fired.
are lying to us right now.
If I really had to like think about it, because my dad is geeky for stuff, but not like the kind of superhero stuff that we like. So I would use something like the Harry Potter crest,
Okay.
but in each square is something that represents my mom and the 3 of us as my sisters and me, and then maybe something in the background that would represent my dad,
Okay.
because obviously he's the man of the house.
Right.
But we're Spanish at the same time, so throw some roosters on there.
Roosters?
Throw some roosters on there.
Keeping some chickens.
What's the connection in regards to roosters? Because I don't know.
My family loves
It's
roosters.
Now,
a thing.
my
It's an
Aunt
Angie
Joanne,
thing. It
her
really is.
kitchen has a lot of roosters and stuff, but it's like a farmhouse.
That's my kitchen at my mom's house. Yep.
Yeah. It's a thing.
And I would also put just one, but right in the middle of the crest, it would be a little tiny frog called a cookie.
Yep.
It's one of the national animals for Puerto Rico.
Yep.
And it will be sitting on top of a banner that says Pax and Bello.
And I think around yours will be all the different morphers.
Okay, you know what? Fine. I'll take that one.
All the different morphers are going to be on Ray's area.
The frog will be sitting on top of a banner that says Pax and Bello, which means peace and war.
Well, you do know that in one of the Power Rangers ones, there was a frog as a Zord.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It works either way.
Can't even fathom that shit right now.
You can't fathom a giant
it
frog.
wasn't the ninja ones, but it was what?
It was the ninja ones.
It wasn't the ninja ones?
Yeah, it was Johnny on Bosch's.
Okay.
That's who it belonged to.
And they were on the island, and they were all
Yep.
like, because they had lost their power coins, and they had to.
That's the movie version of it.
Oh, okay.
But there's that was supposed to.
Can we not do that right now? Because he'll be going on for the next 2 days about this stuff.
And it was Karen Ashley was in,
She was the bear.
You're enabling him right now. You know
Boogie.
that, right?
It's Boogie with the Bear.
Boogie with
Come
the Bear.
on.
That's her thing.
You're still enabling him.
As long as Ray brought up Harry Potter,
Yeah.
I was in New York a couple weeks ago, and there's the big Harry Potter play, like
Right.
the 2-night thing that everyone's going to. But did you know there's an off-Broadway show called Puffs that follows the Hufflepuff?
Your daughter.
Because no one loves the
I did not
Hufflepuffs.
know that.
Because
that is
they
awesome.
focus-
Hufflepuff.
I am too.
They
You're a Hufflepuff?
they focus so much on Slytherin and Gryffindor that there's a show called Puffs.
Is it like Troops?
It a play for anyone who has never been destined to save the world.
Because there's this much interest in Hufflepuffs.
Seven increasingly eventful years at a certain school of magic and magic. So
That's awesome.
you may want to go to New York for off-Broadway show of Puffs.
I think I'm going to have to check that out at this point.
I think she would enjoy that.
All right, so Tony's done his thing. Ray's done his thing. Tanya's done hers.
I did mine.
Billy does mine, so I guess that's up to me. All right. I've only just been thinking about it since this morning. So my family crest would be the middle, instead of a tower or a castle tower, it would be a TARDIS, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it would be kind of like shaped like a tower. So it would be the TARDIS blue, and you'd have police box around the parapet. And you'd have like a lighthouse thing on the top. But instead of police box, it would say something. No, police box, it'd be fine. And then you have the Hufflepuff colors in banners along either side. Okay.
Oh, cool.
All right. A couple of lightsabers crossed at the bottom underneath the tower. All right. And then instead of the lighthouse portion of the TARDIS being like a lantern or a beacon, it would be a D20 lighting up as a lighthouse
Is that
tower.
a Dungeons and Dragons
Yep,
thing?
the D20,
Okay.
as a Dungeons and Dragons thing. And then somewhere on it, an obscure but fairly noticeable location, if you're looking, you'd see the Starfleet Delta.
Oh, that's
cool.
awesome.
So like maybe on the doors, we have the tower built, and you got the doors entering at the bottom. So on the doors, you'd have the Starfleet Delta.
Very cool.
That would be my geeky crest of arms, I think.
I think you should commission someone to do that for you. 'Cause
You
that
think
sounds
so?
like a great idea.
That sounds like, you know what? Here's the best part about it is I'm actually gonna have to write. I'm gonna have to listen to this podcast and write that down because really, I think I winged about half of that right now. No, that does sound cool.
So it's a TARDIS, cross lightsabers.
Cross lightsabers, TARDIS is a
Hufflepuff
tower,
colors.
Hufflepuff colors on the banners.
A picture of me and Tony.
No.
You're so fired.
I approve this message.
All right, you know what?
Dan
That's enough.
just walked into the studio.
And Dan just walked into the
Dan,
studio.
We're going to throw you on the spot just really quickly.
Come on over here, Dan. Come on over here, Dan.
If you had a custom or Geeky Family Crest, what would be on it and why?
Oops,
Dan Reamer from Game Stitch is now going to add 5 seconds worth of material. Make sure you get right into that.
That's,
It should be the one. It was
I don't know, I
Tony's.
just got this sprung on me. Give me just a second.
Yep,
I
you
can
can
give
take 30
Tanya's
seconds.
good at throwing curveballs and then forcing us to vamp our asses off while she finds something.
Gee, it's no different than you putting me on the spot or
And-
whatever.
But that's my job. I'm doing my job by
Yes.
putting you on the spot.
So we're still stalling to give Dan a couple
Yes,
minutes.
exactly.
And to give Dan a couple
It would
seconds.
probably be.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
here we go.
Got it.
He's ready.
And this is the one I get to create. It's
Yes.
something
Yes.
that's been created in the
Nope,
past.
this is
Mine
yours.
would have the Normandy SR1 from Mass Effect. That would
Nice.
be mine.
Badass. That'd be
And
badass.
I do it in Firefly colors.
Okay.
Serenity colors.
Oh my God. Yes, that was something I was forgetting in mine. Okay, keep going.
That would mix the two of them. And then I feel like I need some sort of crossed sabers, maybe some crossed lightsabers across.
See, that was something. That was a motif I was using.
I
So we're both
think-
Jedi in our families.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so I think we'll, and that would probably seal the deal.
Okay.
So
With him mentioning Firefly, I want to add one more thing to mine. You know how I said at the top of the
Does
TARDIS
it say
tower,
shiny?
it would be a D20 lit up to be the lighthouse effect. You know, but on top of the D20, you would have Jane's hat.
Oh, cool.
I want to add something to mine.
We already add the Power
I'm the
Rangers
host. I get to
morphers.
add. No, go ahead. What would you add, Ray?
I want to add the dragon the dragon flute from.
Okay.
Oh, the
The damn flute. That damn
Oh,
flute.
hold on, Tony. There you go. Sorry, Tony.
Sorry, now I want to kind of add something. I want to
See
add
this-
like the. I want to put a little bottom divider and put like cross lightsabers with the Paragon logo from Mass Effect.
There we go.
there you go.
Can I put the Three Stooges on mine somewhere?
Absolutely.
Put the Keyblade somewhere on
Absolutely.
mine.
The three knaves of the house.
There you go.
All right, that's enough fun for this week. I think we'll wrap this one up. And this has been Monkey Business, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic Con, coming at you like a spider monkey, April 13th and 14th at the Blue Cross Arena. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us wherever we go, and we will lead you to where the entertainment is. Hope you have a great week. Hope you had some fun this week, and we will see you all next Wednesday.